And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News. Thank you guys for being on the chat. Nikki Blue Eyes, thank you for coming along and being the first one to be the pioneer on the chat. So it's one of those questions. It's a tricky question. That's why I have to turn it into a live stream. I've got time, so I'm headed back to say my second home to work. So let's talk about it. Deontay Wilder. Should he take the step aside deal? You know, everybody that's coming on to the chat, welcome. This is a very, very interesting topic that we have. It's been brewing for the last few weeks or so. Or should I say couple weeks, right? And Eddie Hearn made it that much more interesting, okay? Because Eddie Hearn has shut down the idea of Deontay Wilder being a mandatory for nothing. You guys hit the like button for me when you come onto the chat. Lee Campbell, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Rhaegar. Is that Mullerson? David James from Bristol, UK. Lee Campbell should be made face white when winner. Face winner. Wait. Wilder should be made to face white and winner face the winner out of AJ Fury. That's absolutely, you know what? That's what would make more sense. That would make a lot of sense. I think at this point, if Deontay Wilder, they're going to give him $10 million, I think he should be ready to fight the person that was mandatory. And I think that would be a great way for the WBC to redeem themselves. You know, because the WBC has done a lot of shady shit lately. And if Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder again, you're going to see some more shady shit from the WBC. I'm just letting you guys know that right now. You're going to see a lot of shady shit because that mandatory for Dillian White, watch it magically. And that's my prediction on it. I predict that somehow Dillian White will end up not fighting for that WBC mandatory once again. They'll push it back. And I already know what the excuse will be. Because if Fury destroys Wilder again, then the AJ fight will go into play. And then Anthony Joshua will get first dibs at Tyson Fury because, honestly, nobody, if you compare AJ to fighting Fury or Fury to fight the mandatory, everybody's going to pick AJ because AJ's more of a popular star, and plus he's a unified champion. And unifications trumps all, right? White will beat Wilder 100%. Okay? Wilder knows White is out for his blood. He's too chicken to fight him. Well, I will say this. Wilder put himself in a good situation, though. I mean, it sucks that he lost, but it's a good thing that he lost because now that's his only option. So he has only one card to play, and he hopes it better be an ace. And that play better be, it better shut the game down. This better be some poker kind of, kind of game he's playing because he has to fight or he has to choose the right option. See, they're just trying to give Wilder $10 million or the amount of money that he asked for. They're trying to make him amount to just, hey, get the fuck out of here. But if you're Wilder, ask yourself this question. Femi, counterpunch to you from London. Wol Oshu, counterpunch to you, brother, from Nigeria. You got to ask yourself this question. If Wilder was going to take the money. Sorry about the interruption, people. Went through a dead zone, dead spot. But anyway, do you think Mr. Yito, Kurt, do you think Wilder will retire after he loses to Fury for the third time? Well, he may retire because then he wouldn't have an excuse. His people wouldn't have an excuse. I mean, they're going to make excuses for him, I'm pretty sure, if he loses. But at that time, it'll be one of those things where you can try to argue, but you'll be failing to argue when Tyson does the same thing again. He just has Deontay's number. He's faster, he's quicker, he's taller, you know, and he's trained to punch harder. And Wilder can't take the punches with that type of aggressive style from Fury, on top of the speed and the on top of the speed that he has. Okay, he can't handle it. Should he retire? He may retire, but I wouldn't recommend it because I think that Wilder is a guy. Okay, guys, we are back. Anyway, here we go. Let's see. I don't think Wilder would retire. He may retire, but he shouldn't. And if he does retire, he just couldn't handle the pressure. He just wasn't about that lifestyle. He was a hype job. He didn't fight the best people. And when he really did fight someone worth a shit, and he really went out for the bat, or up for the bat, he couldn't hack it. He couldn't make it. You know? So, not in a month of Sundays, he got embarrassed and was shown to have less boxing ability than we thought he had. He certainly does not deserve a shot at the winner. Paid to step aside, that's it. Well, if that's the case, as a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. Based on the people that's here, I'm going to make a poll real quick and ask, should Deontay Wilder step aside in order to get the mandatory position? Because what he's trying to do, if this is what Deontay Wilder's doing, he's trying to be where Dillian White is right now, or where he thinks Dillian White is. Because we really don't know where Dillian White is, honestly. We know where he should be, but we don't honestly know where he's at, based on the history of the WBC. So, Dillian White is in a situation where he's expendable. So, Deontay Wilder is trying to bump off Dillian White, honestly. You know, and this is based on what is going on. He wants $10 million. Cool. You want $10 million, you buy my contract from Tyson Fury. I'll take the $10 million, but also, I want the winner. You know, so it's one of those things. And it's tricky because what Hearn said was contradicting. It was, because if you look at what he said and how he worded it, it was like, okay, well, there's no chance we'll fight him if he loses to Fury, right? Then he says in the same article, well, why should we pay him, or why should he become why should he get the winner when he's lost? Well, you just want to give him $10 million so he can sell off in the sunset. That's not what Deontay Wilder is going to do. You know, but the bigger picture is, and this is where I'm getting at, people. The bigger picture is, what was the argument that never died? Okay. Of course, I've counterpunched the argument between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, who wanted it more, Eddie Hearn or Shelley Finkel. You know, these were topics that brewed for a very long time, and they pop up every now and then, right? But if Hearn says, hey, well, we're not going to give him this money for it. Why should he do? He hasn't done anything. All he did was lose. People can argue that, hey, well, see, there you go. That's just Eddie Hearn not confident that Joshua can beat Wilder. And you know that's where it's going to be. And that's exactly what it's going to be. But here's the deal. You can't argue too much into that because it's what Eddie's allowing. You know, I know he's a businessman and all that, but I think at this point, Tyson Fury is being praised. Why is he being praised? Because he beat the guy that's never been beat, right? Okay, fair play. That guy that has never been beat has a contract. So you have to respect the contract. You have to respect the attribute or the accomplishment of Tyson Fury. So for Eddie Hearn saying that Deontay Wilder hasn't done anything, but then at the same breath praise Fury, he has to realize that he took out Wilder when people didn't think he would take out Wilder in the way he took him out. Okay, he fought fire with fire, you know, in that fight. Well, I think that Eddie Hearn should understand that Deontay Wilder should fight the winner, but I don't think it should be at 40%. So I don't know why Eddie Hearn said 40%. Maybe, just maybe, he stuck his foot in his mouth about 4 or 5 months ago and said, hey, yeah, well, it'll be a 50-50 fight if Deontay Wilder wins. Well, here's the thing. Deontay Wilder has that contract, so you have to ask yourself, how far did Deontay fall off just because he lost the WBC belt? And I know it's about straps, and I know it's about titles with Joshua. But then the argument will always come about. In order for Joshua to fight Fury, Deontay Wilder had to allow it. Yes, the $10 million is good, but then for the $10 million, what do you lose? You know what I'm saying? Because the question you ask yourself, if Joshua beats Fury, who would he have to fight? Dillian White. So the question would be, who would you rather see Joshua fight? Dillian White, again, a second time for undisputed as the WBC mandatory, or Deontay Wilder, the guy that allowed all this shit to happen because he was able to step aside. So that's what it eventually comes down to. No, Wilder is getting 40% for Fury. He doesn't have to get 40% for fighting Anthony Joshua, even though whatever he will receive fighting Fury in the third fight will be less than what will be offered if he was going to get the guarantee on that fight. But to get the guarantee on that fight because of contractual agreement doesn't make him a mandatory. The mandatory is in fact Dillian White. So if they're going to do it, I think Eddie Hearn, if he's open to it, which I doubt at this point, because I think he's just lost all respect for Deontay Wilder. And I know that's what they were waiting on. They were waiting on Wilder to lose, so Wilder holds no credibility. You can't really blame them too much. But then you got to ask yourself, like, okay, for all the people that doubted Deontay Wilder wanting the fight, or his people doubted, that may be the case. But one thing sure as hell, Eddie Hearn didn't make it any better doing this or saying these type of things, because it just, for people to look at it, you're like, okay, you just didn't want to fight Deontay Wilder anyway. Because again, it's still people that believe that. You know, what Eddie Hearn should have said, right? And this is based on what he said. What Eddie Hearn should have said was, we will offer him another $10 million. If he accepts $10 million to step aside, we will offer him a $10 million fight of the winner. So if Joshua beats Fury, they'll offer him $10 million to fight the undisputed champion. That's what should have been said. But Eddie Hearn was like, no, he's done if he doesn't win the trilogy. Well, you want him to step aside. So which one do you want? Do you want him to step aside and then him not fight? Or you're hoping he loses. Then he's done anyway. So it's kind of like, well, it's shitty. If you guys see what I'm saying, you can't have it both. If you're saying that Wilder needs to step aside, but then he can't fight the winner, well, damn. I mean, I understand you have Usyk, but Usyk has to get past Chisora. So if Usyk wins, I would want to see Usyk and Joshua. But then if Usyk doesn't win, I don't want to see Anthony Joshua and Chisora. I would care less to see another Dillian White Anthony Joshua fight right now, because those type of fights can always be made, because those guys are from the UK and that they can get that cracking any day of the week, and that's with or without belts. So if they both lost and everyone lost, they could always fight each other on down the road. So that's not really important to me. That's my own personal opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I think that Eddie Hearn saying that, yeah, well, we're not going to offer him 40%. Well, nobody said you had to. You don't have to honor an obligation from another contract that you had nothing to do with. You know, in fact, that contract is void if he decides to step aside for the $10 million. That's if that $10 million is actually real. We don't know, right? Well, MCK, that's what I want to happen. That's what I want them to do. Just patiently wait. Let Wilder have his glory. You know what I'm saying? Because if they allow this narrative, or they allow people to think a certain way, they're going to think it. You know, but it just makes the argument for Eddie Hearn that much believable if you're on that side of the street. Because the first thing you're going to say is, well, you know what? Why is he trying to keep Wilder away from Joshua? Because that's the guy that allowed the step aside to happen in the first place. You know, it's almost, people would look at that like, damn, you take the man's, you give the man $10 million and promise him a shot at the winner, which Eddie Hearn believes it will be Anthony Joshua. And in return, don't fight Wilder. You see what I'm saying? No, Fury should just end him in trilogy. Yeah, at this point he should. Because the best thing that Deontay Wilder should do at this point is focus on the trilogy. Because Eddie Hearn has lost all respect for this man. There was little respect he did have. He lost it. He lost it with that beating on February 22nd. Kurt Wilder doesn't deserve a penny from Joshua. Hearn, anyone from that side, turned down 120 million plus. How many contracts? I can't wait for Undisputed and see Fury batter him. We wanted it. We waited long enough. Well, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all. Okay? And he doesn't deserve anything. But for the same people that say he doesn't deserve anything, fair play. But you can't have it both ways. If he doesn't deserve shit, let him activate his trilogy, his rematch, and let that be. Nobody at this point, nobody should be mentioning and moaning about an undisputed fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Sure, if you're at a pub and you have nothing else to do but talk shit, sure, but don't legitimately want to see an undisputed fight between Fury and AJ when Fury already has obligations to fight and Deontay Wilder the third time. You know, so I mean, it's a lose-lose situation for Wilder. And the only thing that he can do to redeem himself is knock out Tyson Fury. Now, when he knocks out Tyson Fury, right, in the trilogy fight, there will be no more fights because he's not on contract anymore. That's the last obligated fight on that contract between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Then we can set up a possible fight between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Now get this. If Eddie Hearn says, well, hey, this fight can't happen because of this, that, and the other, and he has that WBC strap, then there has to be some truth to what people are saying about Eddie Hearn. Because you don't want, because here's the thing, undisputed is undisputed. And people want to see Fury fight Joshua because Fury will make an easier fight. That fight can happen more easily than a Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight. That's if the fight is still on the table. Will Al Heyman be lenient because, he's lost? So he's lost to 0. He might be more lenient with the fight and negotiation. Or the worst thing could happen to Wilder. He wins, knocks out Fury in the 3rd fight, and his head gets swelled again. Well, we gotta wait and see, Eddie. Rich. We have to wait and see what'll happen. I think honestly that Wilder, because I'm not just pissing on Wilder. I'm not pissing on Wilder because Wilder still has a punch. Maybe not. That's a whole different video. But in the past, the right hand has saved him. Even if he couldn't outbox Fury, even if he's taking punishment from Fury. And understand this, people. The day that happens, he will take far more punishment from Fury because they're not going to be so quick to throw in the towel like they did last time, which Deontay Wilder will sustain more damage if he's not able. Excuse me. Pollen, go away. But anyway, I think that if Fury beats him up, knocks him out, gives him a beat, Wilder will be out. And that's twice that he's been beaten the way he was. Because the second fight was a beating. It just was a beating that was saved. Okay? Wilder was going to get destroyed in that ring, in that corner. If that fight would have kept on, that fight could have ended real bad. You think about all the blood, all the cuts, you know what I mean? All the swelling that was going on with Wilder. If Fury would have kept doing that, he would have been mincemeat. He would have been absolute mincemeat. And it's bad because he was saved, and the only way he was saved, Kevin, hi, is because he had a trainer that knew that he was in no condition to continue. Now, this 3rd fight, if he beats Wilder, Wilder could retire. But I would like to see what Wilder can do, but it would also prove that he's not willing to fight the best. And that was his claim to fame, a draw with Tyson Fury and beating an old Ortiz twice. That's really not a good accomplishment. I mean, he did knock out Dominic Breazeale, but honestly, who is Dominic Breazeale? So Dominic Breazeale is a guy that, hey, he wasn't at the top anyway. He was the mandatory, and we don't know how the hell he became the mandatory, but he just was. So AJ lose to somebody that didn't have no resume, make that make sense. Well, Andy Ruiz was a new kid on the block, and Andy Ruiz didn't fight a lot. Andy Ruiz did go out for a championship title before. He just came up short by a split decision by Joseph Parker. Now, Joseph Parker goes and gets himself outpointed by Anthony Joshua in his backyard. He loses the WBO belt. Then he comes back, Andy Ruiz, he comes back and knocks Joshua out. So it just shows you that the record don't mean much, right? As far as getting different styles in there. Yeah, Andy does have hands. People forget that. So I think that Andy was a guy that just showed that, hey, I belong somewhere. Where exactly, we don't know where he belongs. But he showed that he belongs based on, especially his first loss was a split decision loss. trilogy fight, and if you had to put money on it? Well, if you put money on it now, the logical thing, if you were an aggressive, gambler, you couldn't gamble for Fury and make any money because the odds are in his favor. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to make any money with that guy. Now, if you took a long shot and went for Wilder on knockout in either round, you can make some cash. Watch when the odds come in. You're going to say like, damn. You know, a lot of people think Deontay Wilder's going to lose, but he could go out there, boop, you know what I mean? Knock out Fury and everybody's shocked. But when you stop respecting the person's punching power, that's what you have. I'm not, you know, but anyway. Fernie, counterpunch to you. Nobody wants to see. Nobody wants to fight Ortiz. Nobody wanted to fight Ortiz. No, purism, they didn't. And I'm convinced of that. I don't think no one wanted a piece of that guy. That's why it's so imperative for him to get back in the ring and to show what he can do on top of everyone else, right? What do you think of Michael Jai White saying he would dust a 25-year-old Mike Tyson now because he knows too many tricks? I don't know. I think Michael Jai White is an extraordinary martial artist. Boxer, he played Tyson, if you can remember. Michael Jai White was the guy that portrayed Tyson in his early acting career. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong, Michael Jai White is he's one bad motherfucker. But him beating a 25-year-old Mike Tyson, is that what he said? Hold on, I'm gonna stop to get some gas because my little light's on, and you know what that means, right? But then I'm thinking, like, if he said that, hold on, let me reread that because I couldn't, you know, I'm driving. So, yeah, that's a little cocky, though, in my book. Let me read that to make sure he actually said that. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right. What do you think of Michael Jai White saying he would dust a 25-year-old Mike Tyson now because he knew too many tricks on Vlad TV? Wow. Dust a 25-year-old Mike Tyson. So I'm assuming that's boxing. If it's boxing, I doubt that. A 25-year-old Mike Tyson, no, I doubt. Well, Mike Tyson did peak at like the early 20s. Maybe by the mid 20s, like at least 25, he could give him a fight. Because Michael Jai White wasn't that big then. I mean, he was a heavyweight. He was maybe like 205, 210, but now he's about 230, 225, 230. Michael Jai White is. And Michael Jai White is quick. Now, if we're talking about martial arts, sure. I mean, he'll take Mike's legs away from him or take him to the ground. You know what I mean? Or keep him long distance with his kicks. But as far as him saying that he would beat Mike at 25 years old, no. I don't think so. I really don't think so. See, here's the thing. If he's 25, Michael Jai White and Mike Tyson are the same age. I'm going to do a video about that because that's something I didn't know. Please leave that link. Send me that link at Kurt DeVille through my Instagram, and Instagram is DeVille Kurt. But yeah, send that to me because I didn't read that. Is it Vlad TV? Okay. But yeah, send me that. I have to hear him say that with his own mouth before I do a proper counterpunch on that. Jorge Fortes, no problem. You know, I mean, both of them are old now. I mean, Michael Jai White is at least 52, 53. I think, matter of fact, Michael Jai White was born in 67, so he's about 53 years old. So, yeah. So, I mean, if he was talking about when he was 25 and then when Mike was 20, when they were both 25 years of age, I don't know, because I don't know how good Michael Jai White was as a boxer. I know he was a great striker. He's a hell of a fighter. Now, if this was a street fight, yeah, I would I would give him a better chance. But see, like Mike says, everyone has a game plan until you get hit. If Michael Jai White could get hit and he could punch really fucking hard, but if he got hit himself, what reaction would a Mike Tyson punch at 25 years of age do to him? But anyway, send me the link so I can properly counterpunch, please. But no, back to Wilder. I think Wilder, there's an argument. See, if you're a fan of Wilder, you could say, well, he is allowing these two guys to fight, and if he didn't allow it, that means those guys wouldn't fight right now. And for the sake of the sport, he did a sacrifice for the sport of boxing, knowing that we're coming out of the pandemic. It gave him himself time to train and get himself together, because I think he was mentally beaten also, as well as physically beaten. Okay, let's just be real. And I think the incentive would be, okay, give him a chance to redeem himself. The people that say that Deontay Wilder is a shit fighter, he's a hype job, he can't fight, he can't box, he can't do this, he can't do that, I can't stand his arrogance, I can't stand this about him. If you say all that about Wilder, and you think that he's all bad and he can't stand a chance against Tyson Fury or Joshua, give him the opportunity to do so. That's my counterpunch, because here's the deal. You can talk about a guy because of his skills or a lack of skills. And you can say what he won't do, and you can say what Joshua can do, and you say what Fury done. And we can look all at that. And then we can say, you know what? Deontay Wilder's really not a good fighter, and this, that, and the other. But then if you turn around and don't want to see him fight Joshua when he's already fought Fury, okay, then Joshua beats Fury. Okay, we already know Fury can beat Deontay. That's not the issue, people. Okay, this is not fucking triangle theories. Okay, this pyramid shit don't work. It does not at all. What is wrong with this? This shit is so. Adaptive brightness. But anyway, hate these handhelds. But anyway, I think boxing is not that way. It's not about triangle theories. It's about who fights who. It's rock, paper, scissors. See, just because Fury did what he did to Wilder doesn't mean Wilder couldn't catch Joshua with one of them crazy ass, awkward ass right hands that he's known to throw, and he throws it out there, and he's good at throwing it because that's his lethal weapon. You know, so he can throw the fucking thing. He can still throw that punch. He doesn't have to be a good fighter to throw it. He can just throw it at the right time, or should I say, the perfect time. Okay, he can do that. He can absolutely do that. Okay, the temperature's too high. I get it. But no, I feel that Wilder, he should be awarded I think he should be awarded the winner, because he was able to sacrifice his fight obligations to the sake of the sport of the heavyweight division. But I mean, he has to have another better incentive, because if he takes the step aside money, people, think about it. If he takes that fucking money and then he doesn't fight anybody, what will happen after that? People will look at him stupid. They would see like, aha, you're fucking scared, Wilder. You didn't want to fight Wilder. You're not that guy. You're not the baddest man on the planet. Tyson Fury fucking, he sparked you out, and you're shit. You're shit. We know you couldn't do anything, but then if he's asking for the winner, you can't say that anymore. So we can't have that. We can't be hypocrites about it. If you talked about how bad this guy is, and he's like, well, fine, let me get the winner. If I'm able to take my contract, rip that bitch up, take the $10 million, let me get something in return since I'm that bad. Does that make sense to anybody? Like, if Wilder's that bad, okay, let me fight Joshua. And then if Joshua beats Fury, let's not start with that, oh, Joshua beat Fury and Fury beat Wilder. That don't mean shit. Because Tyson Fury is not Deontay Wilder. And that's who Anthony Joshua would have beat, Tyson Fury, not Deontay Wilder. Again, the styles that these guys have. Okay? You just cost us the AJ Fury fight with what you said. I'm just being real with it. I mean, you have to look at what it is. And it doesn't have to be for a lot of money. It doesn't have look, it has to be with a realistic amount of money coming from a person that does not have the belt. Wilder don't have the belt no more, but at the same time, he could at least ask for the same amount of money for the step aside. So if he wanted $10 million, fair play. Give him $10 million more, get his ass in the ring. That's $20 million he's made total. And basically, it's $20 million that he's made to fight the winner. Okay, so he really doesn't get 10. He gets 10 to step aside, but he gets 10 more to fight the winner. So ultimately, he has $20 million. He's made $20 million to fight a guy when he's not even a champ. So when he's not even a champion, that's cool. That's a great amount of money. But that of course, we have to throw the egos to the side. We can't have the ego there. If we had the ego, then Wilder, like he's saying, I don't see him as a real champion. Then that's where we're going to run into the problems, because Wilder's going to think that, hey, I'm something that I'm not. And he is not the WBC heavyweight champion no more. He lost that belt. He needs to humble himself and realize, I'm just a dude that has a quote in my contract that saved me to give me another opportunity to redeem myself, not to continue. Okay, this is not a fucking defense. He doesn't have a defense. He has no kingdom. He's lost that. So he has to redeem himself with a revenge, with an attempt to get it back. That's the difference. He needs to understand that. And if he can understand that, we could possibly have an understanding on why he should do what he should do. But then Eddie Hearn should be more open to wanting to fight him after that, because that does not help Eddie Hearn's argument or Anthony Joshua's argument on who wanted who at a particular time. That's what got this whole thing started. Why do you think Tyson Fury was able to slide his way on in back into the top and fight the WBC heavyweight champion even before Dillian White did? Why do you think he had that option? Or that luxury? He had that luxury because he knew that this argument was going on, and Tyson Fury slid in, you know what I mean, sneaked his gypsy way into play and say, hey, I'm the Gypsy King, I'll take on Deontay Wilder, the big dosser. So he replaced Joshua. When Team Joshua was trying to send contracts over, he was like, fuck it, give me some money, I'll take the fight, then I'll play my mind games. Yeah, that's right, Joshua. You were a chicken. Chicken! You remember? Chicken Joshua. So he wanted to take the flare, and that's exactly what he did, and it worked. Why? Because he's revered as the top heavyweight fighter today. By doing what? Fighting on Deontay Wilder, a guy that only fought a fucking old guy that was any good. Luis Ortiz is a good fighter, but he was an old good fighter. And they knew he was an old fighter. So regardless of how good he was, they knew he was old. So he got 2 victories over that, and they didn't want to take another risk with another fighter, so they fought him again. That's where that comes from, people. Okay? So with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, those guys arguing back and forth. Now Eddie Hearn says some shit like, no, you're done, you're busted, you're this, you're that. No, fight this motherfucker. Give everybody the fight that we don't have to think about, well, what happened? Shut all these critics up. That's what I would do. I would shut them all up. And okay, now we're going after Wilder. And Joshua himself did say, I will still fight Wilder if he didn't have a belt. But see, Eddie Hearn's thinking, well, why should he fight for undisputed? Well, I mean, if it's an undisputed champion, well, so be it. You know? Now, you can argue that Eddie Hearn would be fearful or cautious that he would want Wilder in there with Joshua, because he has nothing to gain by fighting Wilder at that point. And it would be a dangerous fight simply because he could get caught with one of those right hands, and Deontay Wilder takes all the belts. You see what I mean? He takes every fucking one of them with that one right hand, knocks out Joshua, and then hollers, to this day! You know, right? And so It is what it is. I think that's what this whole debacle is. But I think, the 40% are assuming that what Deontay Wilder are assuming to give Deontay Wilder a split. No, I think you should give him a lump sum, and I think it should be that same lump sum that he supposedly asked for from the beginning. I think that's only fair. Give him 10 million because that's already enough for step aside, but it can be more than a step aside, people. It could be the fact that, hey, this step aside amount, this is just the beginning. This is more like a deposit. So you will fight whoever wins out of the second, so we'll give you another 10 million. Right? Just for being the ex WBC champion. And that's my counterpunch on that, guys. What do you guys think? Because I mean that's my counterpunch on it. I think that should happen. I think they should be open for negotiations because hey, you're done, you blew it, you're done, you're finished. Saying stuff like that doesn't convince people anything. It shows that that's something that you're not willing to do based on where your status is at. Sure, Joshua he's been a unified champion anyway for quite some time. As a matter of fact, he's the 2-time unified champion, right? So if he beats Fury, okay, well, he's already accomplished everything. But he just hasn't accomplished what it's like to share the ring with Deontay Wilder, with Usyk. Who else is out there now? Efe Ajagba, those guys, right? So anyway, that's my counterpunch on that, man. D. Hodges. It's so hot out here, guys, that the screen is kind of like dull, so it's hard for me to see. I want to see Wilder that uses more fundamentals first, to be honest. Well, we got to see what he does. We have to see how he improves. Okay, he's on the redemption list, but he can come off. He can get it back. That's if he listens. That's if he cares to be that person that wants to learn and wants to make a difference and improve himself to be a better fighter. Then that shows you. If Wilder comes out there with a totally different style and he's able to beat Fury with this totally different style, you can't say that he's not versatile, and you can't say that he can't learn. So there's nobody's fault for doing, for anything anymore. You know what I mean? You got to take him off the redemption list. He gets marked off of that redemption list because he was able to redeem himself. And I think he honestly needs time. And I think he should take the step aside deal for 10 million, but it shouldn't be at an expense that he shouldn't get the winner, because that's wrong. It's just almost like Eddie Hearn wants to buy him off and buy him away. You can't buy everything with money. You can't do it. Pretty soon you're going to have to face the music. And a lot of people would, of course, argue, did Eddie Hearn want Deontay Wilder to actually fight Anthony Joshua? Because there's a lot of people that preach that same shit, but hearing stuff like that in an article doesn't prove it right for Eddie Hearn. Yeah, he'd take more winning, but it's not all about money. You give a guy that's used to a couple million or 900,000, then you start giving him 4 or 5 million. He's not going to really be worried about 10. Okay, because I'm pretty sure he might have made $10 million his last fight. So I don't think that's the point, I think he wants the winner. If he can get the winner, why not? But anyway, guys, that's my counterpunch on that. I got to get some gas, get on down the road. It was good talking to each and everybody. Leave your comments below. And all of you guys have been counterpunched. Peace.